What's going on, everybody? My name is Taylor, and it only took me 28 years, but I finally beat my very first Legend of Zelda game. Yes, I don't know what took me so long, but I finally got around to beating one, and that is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. And before I talk about this game, I kind of want to share a little bit of my history with the series and maybe why it took me so long to beat the game. But I never really played any of the first handful before the N64. I never really played it on Nintendo. I didn't play Zelda or Zelda 2 or A Link Between A Link to the Past, and none of the Game Boy games. And obviously a lot of people played Ocarina of Time on the N64. It was one of the biggest games at the time. And I did have an N64 when that game came out, and I did play it. But for whatever reason, I was pretty young. I think I was like 10, 11. And so I just really couldn't get around all the puzzles. There were a ton of puzzles that seemed at the time very challenging. There was so much to do, and I don't know, it seemed too complicated and too daunting to me. So I just never really got around to playing it. And then never touched Majora's Mask. And so years later, this was about a year or two, I was like, all right, I'm finally gonna give The Legend of Zelda its due, and I'm going to try to play some games. I'm going to really try to get into this series. And so the one game I initially tried was Twilight Princess on the Wii. Now I know it came out on the GameCube, and the controls are obviously different since it didn't use the Wiimote. But I did play about, I played about through 2 of the dungeons, and I wanted to just sit there on my controller and do it. I didn't want to swing the sword around with the Wiimote or anything. I just wanted to sit there and hit the buttons, and I don't know, I just didn't have that, and I got sick of it. I got sick of swinging the sword around. And then I'm always a big fan of cel-shaded graphics and anything that has to do with ocean themed, and so I booted up the Wind Waker on GameCube, and I played, I don't know, I didn't get very far. I got off the initial island, which is, I don't know, that's only 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and I just stopped. I just wanted to see what it was all about. But I've been really obsessed with my 3DS lately, and so I've just been playing every top tier, highly rated game. And it finally came time to play this one, and I just loved every second of it. I loved how immediate and simple the combat was. It just felt good to hit dudes and slash guys and solve puzzles. And one thing that this game did, which apparently is a lot different than games in the past, is allow you to rent weapons. Now obviously the traditional Zelda formula is you go to a dungeon, you get an item, and that helps you get through the dungeon, and you'll end up fighting the boss with it. But in A Link to the Link Between Worlds, you're able to rent items from Ravio. He has his own shop set up, and you can rent items, which is it's a neat idea because you can tackle any of the dungeons in any order you want, which is really cool. And I really like that. I like that there was a freedom to it, and you can just do it whenever order you want. Now, I'm sure that there's a set order that you're probably supposed to go through, or that most people went through. But just the illusion that you could do it in whatever order you want was pretty neat. And yeah, the puzzles were super clever. It was very satisfying to be able to solve them once you did, because it uses a ton of different items, and the new mechanic of being able to blend into the wall and kind of slide around things was really innovative and really cool. It lent itself to some really cool puzzles and different mechanics throughout the game, and I really enjoyed that. It felt, like I said, it just felt very satisfying, and even some of the bosses implemented that. There's a boss where he's got a big old shield, and you paste yourself onto his shield, and then he doesn't see where you are, and you hit him from behind. And I think it took me about somewhere between 15 and 20 hours. I don't remember my playtime, but it was just very satisfying. And I was happy when it was over, but I would definitely love to have more. It makes me want to go back and play A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. So anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to talk about how much I enjoyed this game. It's one of my favorite games on the 3DS now, and I'm glad I finally got around to beating a Zelda game because it's been way too long. And I'm actually really excited to play Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. I'm planning on getting a Wii U at some point, either for Smash Brothers or, one of those games, one of those big games I'm planning on getting it for eventually. So decided to play Wind Waker HD, and then obviously the new Zelda on Wii U that they showed at E3 looks stunning. Can't wait to try that, especially if it's as open world and like they said, and the art style is just absolutely beautiful, with kind of like a Skyward Sword meets Wind Waker. It's so stunning. I can't wait to play that game. Anyways, guys, I wanted to know, what is your favorite Legend of Zelda game, and what is the one that you beat first? I know my audience is a wide range of ages, so for some of you it might be A Link to the Past, some of you it might be Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword, who knows? So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. thank you so much for watching and subscribing, guys. That always means so much to read your comments and see your tweets about videos and just things I'm doing. So I always appreciate it. And stay tuned for next week, where I'm gonna try to have 2 videos out, a new review and then one about PT. So stay tuned. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.